Hey everybody, it's Shannon. I thought that today I would do a video. I was asked a question by someone. I think it was one of the videos where I was trying the FOLFIRI and I had really horrible side effects that were so bad, which by the way I didn't have this time. And I'll do a little update on that later. But the person asked, you're getting palliative chemo, which is absolutely true. It's palliative, it's not curative. At this point in time, science cannot cure my cancer. Where it is, the stage that it is, all of that. So yes, it is palliative. It's to make me feel better. It's to hold it off as long as it possibly can. So that is the purpose of it. Just like the purpose of whenever I had the palliative radiation was to make my arm, the cancer in my arm, not so sore. It wasn't to do away with the tumor or anything like that. So this person said, given that, it's all palliative, and I was having those horrible side effects for those 2 weeks, was I worried about whether my family would only remember me as being sick? And I thought that was such a good question because I think it's something that a lot of people think about. Obviously, some people have it probably a little, I would imagine if you have little children, it's a lot harder. Right now at my house, it's my husband and I, because, my son is 23 and he's in the Army 2 states away. And my daughter is 18 and she's in college 1 state away. So they don't see me on a day-to-day basis. Like they did not see me go through any of, that horrible FOLFIRI side effects for round 1. They didn't see any of that. Will at some point they see me get sick? Yes. I have cancer. At some point, this chemo is going to stop working and then we'll try something else and try something else. But if science hasn't caught up with what I have and isn't able to cure me, at some point, realistically, I'm going to get sick and I'm not going to be here anymore. And they'll see that. But that's true for everybody. I remember when my grandmother died at like 86. She was not a well person at 86, and I watched her go downhill. My dad died of leukemia, and his was actually pretty quick. He had the leukemia that strikes and you're out of there. And I think once he was diagnosed, it was 7 months later he had died. And I saw that, but that's not what I remember of my father. Yes, I can picture him as being sick, but I had 38 years with that man. So no, I don't think that my kids will only remember me being sick. And part of that's because my children are older. I guess that's why I do feel sorry for when I'm in the oncology infusion suite and I see somebody young come in, and you just know they have young children. And, it's hard enough to understand cancer at 18 and 23, much less at 8 and 13. So I think I am lucky in that regard, that I've had a lot of very well years with my kids. And, to look at me now, I don't look sick. So that's my answer to that question. My update though I had my FOLFIRI, the second round, and I just made the cutoff for the white blood cell count to get it. My platelets, of course, are wonderful. They're like a normal person. I'm so excited. But then I just exchanged it for having low white blood cell. And those help with your immunity. So that's not good. Glad now I had those 3 vaccines. But they turned down the something cane, whatever that is. They turned that one down, and I had a much better time with it. My normal go-to side effect is fatigue. And yes, I still had that with this. I mean, it wiped me out. I was exhausted, you know, but I can deal with that. I have a friend who says I could be the president of the U.S. Olympic napping team. And he's right, I could be. So, that doesn't really bother me. I mean, that's a side effect I'll take any day. I was nauseous for like a day, but you know, they give you medicine for that. So I took my medicine for that and that went away. No vomiting. I think I had one day where my stomach kind of hurt. Not anything like it hurt before. And so I can deal with that. And I think that's what you have to do is, you know, chemo is trying to kill off, you know, the bad, but it also kills off the good. So it's not like you're not going to have any side effects. I think that's completely unrealistic. I think you just have to get to a point where you can deal with the side effects you're given. So if mine is fatigue and I have to, you know, stay in bed and take naps all the time for a week, then so be it. If I have to take, you know, Zofran and Compazine for a day or two to make sure I'm not nauseous, then that's okay. I can do that. That's no big deal. One day of my stomach hurting, I can, those are things I can deal with. That's the good thing. So you take the good with the bad. And if this will help me live a longer life to maybe where they can find something that's curative for my cancer, then I'll do it. I mean, I think anybody would. That's, to me, a no-brainer. But anyway, so that was my update for that. Oh, the white blood cell count. Now, I do like this part better. You know, if you have low platelets, really the only thing they can tell you to do is wait. There's no, you know, vitamin you can take. There's no shot they can give you. There's none of that. It's go home and it's just time to build them up again. So that's kind of frustrating. That was frustrating for me whenever I'd go and be ready to have my chemo and then they'd be like, no, your platelets aren't, you know, high enough, whatever. With the white blood cell count, however, there is something they can do to help that. And so I went in on Monday and I had the big infusion. And then on Wednesday I went back and I was disconnected and I was told to come back the next day because I would get a shot to help stimulate the marrow in your bones to produce lots of white blood cells so that you have an overabundance of them, which obviously I needed because I was quite low. The shot, I don't take Neulasta, I take a biosimilar shot to that, which just basically means I think it's the same thing, but it just has a different name. And I am the biggest coward when it comes to shots, which if you saw the thing about the vaccine, you know that already about me. I can do surgery. I can do, you know, endoscopies and colonoscopies and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't bother me because you're out. They put you out. But when you get shots, they don't put you out. You're awake, and sometimes it hurts really badly, and I don't like that. So, you know, I called myself the Cowardly Lion, and I had to gather all my strength and all my courage to walk in there on Thursday, and all the girls laugh hysterically because surgeries and major surgeries are no big deal to me, but this one stupid shot is what has got me like shivering over in the corner. But I did have one of the nurses who had given me one of the vaccines before. I knew that she gave a really good shot because hers was, I couldn't even feel it. So I made Deanna do it again. She got all nervous. She's like, oh my gosh, what if I don't do it well this time, whatever. And I knew she would. And so sure enough, the shot, I didn't even feel the needle, to be quite honest. It's a very small needle, which is nice, so you don't really feel it. I didn't feel anything. You do have to, they have to like push it in slowly, and there must be a lot of it because that did take a while. And so like the last half of the shot started kind of, you know, that's when it kind of kicks in to where you can feel it, and then it starts like, oh, that's burning a little bit, whatever. But about the time when you say, ooh, that's burning, is when, you know, they finish with it. So that shot was not bad. And if it helps me to, you know, boost my white blood cells, I'm all for that. And at least I don't have to like wait like you do with platelets. So that was not too bad. So I had that, but that does have side effects as well. Of course it does, you know, because you don't go through enough. And its side effects are that it can make you feel like you have the flu, like body aches, and especially like in your bones, like that. I would imagine it's probably like bone pain from cancer. But I didn't have any of that because I took Claritin. Don't know why it works, but it does. I took Claritin Wednesday and Thursday when I had the shot, and then Friday and Saturday, and I did not experience any bone pain except for the normal bone pain that I have in my arm. But so that was really nice. So I highly recommend, if you have to take Neulasta or a biosimilar shot to that, take Claritin. Start a day ahead, go a few days after, and hopefully it will work for you. It works for most people. Some people, unfortunately, I guess it doesn't help. I don't know why, but it doesn't. So that's what I've done. And I go on, let's see here, today is Wednesday. And on Monday I go back for chemo again. So I'm anxious to see how many white blood cells were actually produced during that time. It's kind of interesting. I like the science behind cancer. I don't like having the cancer, but the science behind it is pretty cool. But that's about all. And I will let y'all know how other things happen. I did come up with my 2 new short-term goals, and I'll share those with you later because this video is getting really long. Anyway, be strong, stay positive, have a great attitude, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.